Click on me whenever you want to hear one of my special sounds.
Hey everyone. It's happening again. Dinosaur Adventure, registered trademark 3D, is a point-and-click adventure game developed by edutainment powerhouse Knowledge Adventure, and released in 1999 for the Windows Personal Computer and Power Macintosh. It's got lots to explore. It's got Island of Intrigue. It's got Collect Dino movies. But don't take my word for it, just look at what's on the back of the box. Quote, Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, the mighty T-Rex, creatures your child has been fascinated with since the beginning of time, end quote. They are eternal and undying. Your child has preceded your own existence by billions of years and will persist until the dust your bones become has been scattered across the cosmos. Quote, welcome to Dinosaur Adventure 3D, your exploration in the prehistoric world of dinosaurs. This all-new version of the award-winning original combines the latest in 3D technology with outrageous gameplay that your kids will love, end quote. And wait until you see the disc. What the hell? I had a lot of fun with this game as a kid. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it held my attention for a few days. I never thought I'd ever get to play it again, but for reasons incomprehensible to me, Dinosaur Adventure 3D, along with a bunch of other edutainment titles, recently received its very own modern remaster, courtesy of the Jordan Freeman Group. You can buy this on Steam for money. And like, what do you even say? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for game preservation. But why? Paleontology has come a long way since the 90s. Most of the educational content has probably gone the way of the dinosaurs themselves. What reason is there to ever pick it up beyond nostalgia? I guess if you've manifested your eternal and undying child into the material plane as an adult since playing it yourself as a wee bab, it'd be fun to break it out and show them the dino games you had when you were their age. But that's all. Actually, that does give me an idea. Just how poorly has Dinosaur Adventure 3D aged? Did they accidentally get a few things right? Does it actually hold up? I fucking doubt it, but I've already bought the thing, so let's find out. But before I get my hands into the guts of this game, some of you may be thinking, Knowledge Adventure, that name rings a bell, as well it should if you're a dinosaur nerd. They're also responsible for several Jurassic Park games, which I've been struggling through the past few years. I didn't actually remember Knowledge Adventure also made Dinosaur Adventure 3D. After 1.5 years of Jurassic Park 3 shovelware, I got jump scared by this logo when I first booted the game. It had me bracing for a real bad time in spite of my nostalgia. But honestly, this game is lovely. A fucking masterpiece compared to all the Jurassic Park 3 tie-ins they made a couple years later, so I don't know what was happening behind the scenes. I guess the infernal trinity of budget, deadlines, and licensing agreements struck yet again. And I bring all this up now because I've already completed most of that project, and I'm not going back to change it again. So consider this video a weird little prologue to the Jurassic Park 3 retrospective that will never be mentioned again. Oh, and there are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't got around to playing Dinosaur Adventure 3D over the past 27 years, then don't come crying to me when this video gives away absolutely everything. Anyway, let's get to it. This is Dinosaur Adventure 3D.
Problem starts with a T and ends with a Rex. Life used to be great on Paleo Island. Sipping on cool, clear water. Soaring in the sun. Then he showed up. Very tired. Very, well, let's say, cranky. And very, very hungry.
Dinosaur Adventure 3D is clearly capitalizing on the paleo boom brought on by Jurassic Park, but it's also very clearly a riff on the much more family-friendly Land Before Time films, something that becomes obvious once you learn your goal.
See, when a dino gets scared, a dino forgets everything, even its own eggs. Yep, we've got us a big problem, all right. About 20 feet tall and 50 feet long. So, as you can see, we really need your help. There are dino eggs lost all over Paleo Island. When you find a hidden egg, bring it here to the volcano to hatch it. Come on, let's go!
Yes, Dinosaur Adventure 3D is yet another egg hunt. God damn it. I am so sick of collecting dinosaur eggs. Why is this the only joke dino games have? Having to search the little bastards out would be bad enough, but in Dinosaur Adventure 3D, you're not expected to do it alone. You have to search the eggs out with Rolf. What is this accursed beast? I hate it with every fibre of my being. Get its wretched form off my screen right now. Rolf is a sleep Parasaurolophus demon, a two-dimensional nightmare in a three-dimensional world who acts as your constant companion throughout the game, and honestly, that's a little unfair. Rolf's doing his best. His best is just really bad. I don't like the design much. I like it even less close up. Oh no. But I will admit he's well animated. He moves around a lot, he's quite expressive, the animators play with scale and perspective, he's got transition animations if you skip a bit of dialogue, he treads water when you're in the river, he's even a little interactive. He's so handsome in the help button too. I don't know what happened to him. And he keeps hitting meme poses decades early, it's bizarre. And it helps that he's well performed. Pat Music knocks Rolf out of the park. She brings a really nice gentle energy to the role, making him friendly and informative without coming off as condescending, especially when it comes to the minigame instructions.
Please make me a map so I can find my friend. Then, have fun with me as I try to use the map. I've got pebbles in my hand to make a trail. Every time you click the green light, you use up a pebble. Get me to the lost Brachiosaurus before my pebbles run out. First, look for an egg that has at least one side, left or right, that's not touching another egg. Like this one.
Though not even she can sell some of these jokes.
Dinosaurs that ate both plants and animals are called indecisive. Imagine challenging a T-Rex to an arm wrestling contest. Guess what? You might have won. The fin on its back controlled its body temperature. Wow, cool! hot! Both! Tailbones help flying creatures fly. If you don't believe me, watch a plane without a tail. Don't get in it, just watch it. Scientists can tell what a dino was doing by studying its footprints. Running, standing still, or doing the Macarena. Cycads are stout woody plants found all over the earth during the Jurassic Age. They look kind of like, well, pine cones that need a haircut. Horsetails were common plants in the dino days, but horses didn't exist yet. That's putting the horsetail before the horse. Did you know your body is mostly water? Do the wave!
Rolf, you deserve the asteroid.
Imagine eating a rock! I'm not scared. I'm just cold-blooded.
Okay, fine. That one got me. That was funny. His mate Terrence the Pteranodon is way worse in my opinion. He's not quite the demonic entity Rolf is, but he is very annoying.
Hey, Rolf, I learned a trick. Flying upside down. Wanna see?
No.
T-Rex scared a baby dinosaur onto the third island, and now it's stuck there. I couldn't seem to help, but maybe you'll have better luck. Hey, Rolf! Can you see me up here?
I cannot stand this performance. It's insufferable. I did not need to know what Petrie from The Land Before Time would sound like as a middle-aged deadbeat. Still, I can't fault the animations. There's some good shit right here.
Pleased to meet you.
He'll take us anywhere we need to go. Giddy up!
Is this a fetish thing? Idiot can't land to save his life either. Not even Rolf seems to like him.
Whoa! Nice one, Terrence. Remind me to call you next time I want to try out a new skull shape.
The 3D environments are less impressive, but they're certainly an improvement over Dino Defender and Danger Zone, which, again, is insane given those games came out after this one. They may be very old-fashioned by today's standards. There's a real cheap plastic quality to them that you can almost smell, but to their credit, they lack the Uncanny Valley vibes present in Rolf, or other early 3D dinosaur games like Area D. There's enough texture and detail to the environments to make them feel lived in, if not realistic. The best the developers could manage with the technology of the time. The sky isn't like a blue void, there are clouds and haze and the sun. Paleo Island isn't just an endless stretch of green jungle. The Triassic is rocky and hostile and dry. The Jurassic is lush and humid. The Cretaceous comes with the looming dread of the incoming extinction. And there are little guys to find everywhere you go. A few of them are just chilling, like the Mosasaur in the Cretaceous River, or Megazostrodon on the Triassic Bluff, but just as many are drinking, or foraging, or hunting, and at least the three-dimensional dinosaurs look pretty good. Sure, the pre-rendered animations are jank as hell, most of the reconstructions are horribly outdated, the Dilophosaurus skipped leg day, and this one looks like a Muppet, but they don't have the shrink-wrapping issue nearly as bad as some 90s dinosaurs did, and they don't look out of place the way the 2D ones do. Catching sight of a two-dimensional Brachiosaurus and this little glider in the Jurassic had me wondering if I'd accidentally seen something I wasn't supposed to. The babies you hatch are all two-dimensional as well, and while some of them are kind of cute, the ones inspired by The Land Before Time mostly, others are pure nightmare fuel, like the Rampaging. Disgusting, vile, I hate it. Die. It's only in the minigames where the 2D art really shines, and once again, it's mostly carried by the quality of the animations. Rolf just looks better from a distance, though even I have to admit these inserts during Predator are genuinely great.
This jungle's not big enough for both of us. I was just leaving. Hey, it's just a turtle. Wow, I found some more pebbles. Deinonychus. Say, your name means terrible claw. Why's that? Oh. You make a very good point, and I'm gonna give it some serious thought. Look, a vine I can swing on.
As is the sound design overall, there are one or two familiar sound effects in there. For example, the Dilophosaur and Coryphosaurs have the same hisses and grunts usually given to the Xenomorph in most Alien games.
A family of Coryphosaurs.
And I swear to God the baby Brachiosaur from the Predator minigame makes the classic Resident Evil zombie noise. Like, I'm not crazy, right? That's the same sound. But otherwise, the audio design did a lot to make Paleo Island feel alive. These transitions between areas would look like janky screensavers if not for the audio direction.
Whoa! Watch out now! Careful! Woo!
The music was pretty unobtrusive too. The only track that really stood out was the Crystal Theatre theme, but none of it was bad. The only bit of audio work I didn't like was the scream of the baby Triceratops in Connector Cave. That thing can give the baby Rex from The Lost World a run for its money on making me want to climb down a raptor's throat. Speaking of the minigames, you might think they're what you need to complete in order to collect those fucking eggs, but you would be incorrect. Instead, you need to play them to collect hatching crystals. What is a hatching crystal? Don't worry about it. Rolf has them already. He just isn't willing to give them to you until you play a minigame with him.
You did it! Now I can find my way. Here's a hatching crystal. You have 1 hatching crystal. You need to find a hidden egg.
Each nest needs 3 crystals to hatch an egg, which means you have to complete a grand total of 27 minigames to pop all 9. And with those sorts of numbers, you'd think Knowledge Adventure would put in some variety to keep things from getting repetitive. Wrong. There are 6 minigames. And they are fine. They're certainly better than some other minigames Knowledge Adventure would go on to put in Danger Zone, but you'll just have to wait for the Jurassic Park 3 retrospective for that insanity. At least the ones in Dinosaur Adventure 3D allow you to play them at 3 different difficulty levels, and while it doesn't mean they come close to challenging an adult, they do rise to the level of engaging. And for your young child who has existed since before the birth of the universe, they'll probably prove quite the brain tickler indeed. You can access the minigames via the overworld from the vantage of Terrence's wings, or by finding them on the ground by foot. If you play through Paleo Island in chronological order, and you are playing in chronological order, aren't you? The first minigame you're likely to encounter is Connector Cave. It's just a pipe puzzle. You get a bunch of tiles and you have to place them on the board so that Rolf can find the Triceratops on the other side of the cave. Sometimes the boards have rocks blocking your path, and on higher difficulties there might be that evil baby Triceratops who you'll need to rescue along the way, but the end result is the same. On the lower difficulties, the puzzle is basically brain dead. Just draw a straight line with a single curve, but on hard, there were times when it made me pause to think things through. It's fun enough, and it's certainly the easiest way to farm crystals when you're trying to finish off the last couple of eggs, but the real reason to play is to watch Rolf run the course once you're done. Each kind of tile comes with a couple of hazards to choose from, and each hazard has 2 animations depending on which direction Rolf approaches from. Shifting rocks might stump him in one direction, but not the other. Sometimes he might get cleaned up by a boulder, or menaced by an Elasmosaurus, or fall into some lava like an idiot, or... RUN! It's very charming, even if there isn't much to the mechanics.
I thought you'd never get here.
Triassic Tar Pits is the next game you'll come to, and it's basically Frogger if you had to use the cars to reach the other side of the road instead of moving between them. A single misclick will send you right back to the start, though at least Rolf doesn't seem to mind.
Tastes like licorice.
On easy mode, it's a pretty simple game of spot the pattern, but on hard, it becomes a timed gauntlet where you're the ball in a Rube Goldberg machine. It adds in giant dragonflies and beetles that move around the map, obstacles that sink into the licorice for a few seconds at inopportune times, bubbles that force you to jump in a predetermined direction, and it's the closest this game gets to genuine tension. It's still pretty slow, but if you jump for a bubble and know the obstacle on the other side is going to disappear at any moment, you'll be sweating bullets as Rolf goes for the gold. On the other side of the pit is a trapped dinosaur, who you free from beneath the tree. But the real question is, what the fuck is Terrence doing through all this? Why isn't he flying us over the tar? Why are you even here?
And away we go! Oh, whoa!
Bone Builder is the third minigame, and it's just a simple match the thing to the outline affair. You do get to reconstruct 6 different dinosaurs, and they all get a different bit of commentary when you do.
That horn on its nose? Was it for warning away predators? For identifying it to others? For playing ring toss? We don't know. What do you call the biggest, most ferocious meat eater that ever set foot on Earth? Whatever it wants to be called.
But it's not exactly a challenge. Not even on hard, which doesn't do much more than split up the pieces a little and slap on a time limit. This is probably my least favourite of the 6, because it is so mechanically stagnant, but at least the variety is nice, I guess. Predator is a close second in the race to the bottom, but for the opposite reasons. It's probably the least interesting to look at out of all 6, but it does try as far as gameplay goes. I'm not even sure how to describe it. I actually checked the manual hoping to paraphrase what it says, but it doesn't actually explain how the game works. Terrence flying above Rolf to represent his position in the jungle is about all it gets right. It's like he has a handful of pebbles, but each rock can only be seen from a certain distance away, so you can only move so far before dropping another, and the number of tiles you can travel is randomized, so sometimes you pull 5 or 6, and others you get junk. There are predators stalking the jungle, as the name implies, the T-Rex is creeping through the trees, there's Velociraptor and Deinonychus, and you need to use sound clues to determine how close they are, but it's not the only obstacle in there.
A herbivore is a plant eater. A herbivore is in my way.
It's like trying to play a game of snakes and ladders without being able to see the board. This one's a bit scuffed, honestly, though it did manage to pull off a moment of triumph as I approached the goal with too few pebbles to spare, only to find a couple more on my last move. But hey, at least you saved the Brachiosaur.
I made a trail for you, Brack. Just follow the colored pebbles and you can find your way home. You're welcome.
Scrambled eggs can be found in the Cretaceous Cave, and it is not, in fact, a match-free game. I wish it was. Instead, you need to match 2 eggs of the same type on the edge of the group. Hard mode just adds another layer and more species. It's whatever. It does contain a core memory though. I've never been able to get Rolf saying
Coelophysis
out of my head. I'd forgotten basically everything about this game since I last played it, but not that. I still stim Coelophysis to myself every now and then. Galloping Gallimimuses is the final minigame, right on the border between the Cretaceous and Triassic, and Dinosaur Adventure 3D saved the best for last. In the game's most obvious homage to Jurassic Park, a herd of Gallimimuses are being chased by a rampaging T-Rex, and if Rolf doesn't want to get trampled into a trace fossil, he's got to start running. The minigame is an auto-scroller in the style of Crash Bandicoot, where you run at the screen and avoid obstacles as they appear. Terrence is a lazy bastard, so Rolf's only option is to jump over the bones and branches in his way, though when one of the Gallimimuses makes a break for it, your only choice is to get out of its way. There are also flowers, which act as your health bar. Blue, red, doesn't matter. The more you pick up, the more punishment Rolf can take. There are also these blue leaves hanging from branches, or offered by this little flying dude, which are just the performance-enhancing drugs Rolf needs to leap the canyons you come across every now and then. The game claims you can make the jumps if you approach from the right position and hit the button at the right time, even without the blue leaves, but that was never true in my experience. Rolf always went hurtling into the abyss, only to be pulled out at the last second by Terrence, who otherwise never chooses to intervene. Because he sucks. Still, it's pretty fun, and on hard, surprisingly challenging. It can go for several minutes at a time, and it feels like a proper level in a genuine video game.
Woo! What a great job you did!
So that's how you get the hatching crystals. But how do you get the eggs? That requires exploration. Rolf will usually give you a hint when you're flying above the island, and then it's just a matter of cycling through each screen until Terrence pops out to quiz you on where the egg is hidden, because he can't just tell you, apparently.
Be on the lookout for a hidden egg. Listen for my hint. Look at something that has speed in its name.
Terrence, you deserve the asteroid. He sounds so petulant when you get it wrong too. Like, we're on the same side here, you fucker, just tell me the answer.
I think you're going to have company. Look again.
Choose wrong too many times, and the T-Rex will appear to scare the egg away, or something. The only way to choose right is by clicking on everything to learn all of Rolf's cool dino facts, but that'll take a while. Each interactive element of every screen has 2 or 3 voice lines to hear, and it takes a couple of hours to get through them all. It'll take long enough that the Rex will definitely return before you're done, and while it doesn't put you or Rolf in any immediate danger, I do think it moves moves the egg to a new location, because I went ages without finding one with the thing breathing down my neck. It'll also kick you for being AFK, which was probably more to protect CRT monitors from burn-in than to punish the player, though it was still a shock.
Did you hear that? Don't hang around too long. Do something or get moving. His ugliness is almost here. Quick, do something. Yikes! When you feel the breath of a T-Rex.
It's usually the last thing you feel.
You can collect up to 3 hatching crystals at once, but only 1 egg. If you find another with 1 already in your inventory, it'll pop open like a can of snakes and ruin your day. Once you've got everything you need, then it's back to the hatchery under the volcano to experience the miracle of life. Thanks, I hate it. The hatchery also contains a crystal gallery, where you can watch all the cinematics you've encountered. It's a nice addition, though I don't know why you'd ever use it when it's better to just watch the dinosaurs in the wild. Only the coolest critters get their own cinematics, and they are unhinged. Animals like Dimetrodon and Eudimorphodon lull you into thinking they'll be normal, if a little short, but then you've got Cynognathus voring the camera, Syntarsus just stealing a guy, Dilophosaurus and Rhamphorhynchus stepping out of an analog horror project. Ceratosaurus has crazy eyes, and so does Stegosaurus. I don't know who that is there with the Stego. He wasn't doing well even before taking a spike to the face. Allosaurus is fucking horrifying. Triceratops is fucking schmooving. At least Coryphosaurus only sounds cursed. And as for Carnotaurus, look at those piano hands. Plateosaurus, Mosasaurus, Spinosaurus in spite of itself, and Diplodocus are relatively normal at least. Protosuchus is just a little guy. Hey, get the fuck out of here, you already got a cinematic. And so did you, Carnotaurus, but I don't care, I love you, you're perfect. No, don't hurt him!
Awesome!
It is not awesome, Rolf. A guy just got eaten. That was the Velociraptors, by the way. I just realised I never said that in the script. You hatch a Plesiosaurus and Ankylosaur, but never come across adults anywhere on Paleo Island. You can also find Megazostrodon, Archaeopteryx, a regular tortoise for some reason, a frog, a big scorpion, fish, some starfish, a horseshoe crab, a clam, an ammonite, a decidedly dead coelacanth, ironic, and Sneck out in the wild. There's Megalodon perhaps, some sort of plesiosaur, big crab, let's go, along with big worm, big Venus flytrap, and run! In Connector Cave, some sort of duckbill in the tar pit minigame, along with a trilobite, big beetle, and a griffinfly. There's an Apatosaurus in Bone Builder, some sort of Ankylosaur in Predator, a very crusty Deinonychus, Gallimimus in the Stampede, and so many egg boys.
Oviraptor, Strithiomymus, Minmi, Eustreptospondylus, Stygimoloch, Baryonyx, Edmontonia, Kentrosaurus, Massospondylus, Compsognathus, Pinacosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, Coelophysis, Uraniosaurus, Dromiceomymus, Hypacrosaurus, world's oldest dinosaur, Herrerasaurus.
There are so many here I never even saw Lambeosaurus or Hypsilophodon on this recorded playthrough, and there may be even more I don't know about. This game is so dense with stuff you'll never see it all on one run. Also, somehow the Spinosaurus picture on the eggs is more accurate than the in-game 3D model. I don't get it. And Archelon, Dicynodont, Sea Scorpions, Giganotosaurus, Troodon, Iguanodon, Dinochirus, Hinosaurus, Supersaurus, and Micropachycephalosaurus all get mentioned without putting in physical appearances. Oh, and who could forget Tyrannosaurus Rex, Pteranodon, and...
Hi, I'm Rolf, the Parasaurolophus, Parasaurolophus. Whew!
Dude can't even say his own name. So yeah, a really good roster. Big enough that I've probably missed one or two of them somewhere. And as for the educational side of things, honestly, it's pretty good for the 90s.
A fossil of a dinosaur footprint is called a trace fossil. The moon is very slowly moving away from the Earth. In the dino days, it looked a bit bigger than it does today. The teeth of carnosaurs were curved backwards. Once they grabbed a victim, it couldn't get away.
It even had some things to teach me again after all this time.
Protosuchus was a long-legged crocodile from the Triassic period. A meteor traveling in space is called a meteoroid. Scientists grind up coprolites to figure out what dinosaurs ate. That's a job I'll leave to someone else.
About the worst I can say is that it gets pretty repetitive with how often Rolf describes a dinosaur's length in terms of how many vehicles it is.
Supersaurus is the name of a dinosaur even larger than a Brachiosaurus. Its neck, its body, and its tail were each as long as a school bus. Corythosaurus was longer than a school bus, the size of a truck. Triceratops bigger than a car. Carnotaurus.
I went into Dinosaur Adventure 3D expecting to rip it to shreds over its inaccuracies, but the tricky fuckers at Knowledge Adventure hedged their bets pretty well by having Rolf preempt everything he says with,
Some scientists think so.
allowing what were fringe theories at the time room to grow into the accepted science they are today. So, okay, fine, you win this round, Rolf, but I'm going to find something you missed. I'm gonna get ya. One thing that definitely hasn't aged well is the reconstructions. Aside from the general lack of feathers on display, they've just got some weird proportions. Spinosaurus is an especially egregious example. Look at him. Poor fucker had his skull put under a hydraulic press. But you know, that's low-hanging fruit. We can do better than that.
The ancient Chinese ground up dinosaur bones and used the powder in medicines.
Okay, that's a little juicier. Now, I could find information pretty easily about fossils being used in traditional Chinese medicine. It's called Longu, which translates literally to dragon bones. Sorry for the pronunciation. And it's prominent enough to have its own Wikipedia page. So I can see where Rolf is coming from, but I couldn't find any evidence of it using dinosaur fossils specifically as an ingredient. Still, we can do better.
Some scientists think Cynonathus had whiskers and fur. Strange for a reptile.
This one is less excusable. The game presents Cynogenathus as a fucked up Muppet furry dinosaur, but it isn't, and I don't think it was ever considered to be. They were therapsids, proto-mammals basically. So that's one strike. Two more and Rolf's getting dragged out the back and fed to your ageless and immortal child. The child hungers. Troodon no longer exists. That's something the game got wrong. Strike two.
Welcome to the Jurassic period, when the biggest dinosaurs of all lived.
And the Jurassic definitely no longer has claim to the biggest dinosaurs given the size of some Cretaceous sauropods. So that's strike three, get in the child. There's a claim that Megazostrodon may have been the earliest mammal, but that's been disproven. Brassildon has it beat by around 25 million years. The oldest insect fossil is now 407 million years old rather than 390 million years as Rolf suggests. The game also makes the mistake of claiming Oviraptor was an eater of eggs, which has since been debunked, I believe. They loved their own eggs so much we keep finding fossils of them together. But everything else is kind of impossible to verify because the animals are extinct. When the game suggests dinosaurs used rotting leaves to warm their eggs, or certain animals were scavengers, yeah, maybe. We can base it on comparisons to living animals and fossil evidence, but ultimately the answer's a pineapple. Funnily enough, the most inaccurate thing I could find in Dinosaur Adventure 3D has nothing to do with paleontology at all.
Some planets have more than one moon. Jupiter has 4.
Yes, Jupiter's 4 moons. Let's name them together, shall we? Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. And Metis, and Adrastea, Amalthea, Thebe, Themisto, Leda, Himalaya, Ursa, Pangaea, Lysithea, Alara, and Carpo. And you thought it was the end of this list, but it was me, Dia, Valatudo, Euporiae, Orthosiae, Euanthe, Thyone, Neem, Meme. Hang on, I'm looking this up.
Mimi.
What? Harpalycae, Hermipae, Praxidike, Thelsonoe, Euthame, Helicae, Iocastae, Anancae, Philophrosinae, Eurydomene, Archae, Autonoe, Pasithae, Hirsae, Chaldonae, Isonoe, Carlae, Itanae, Erinome, Tagate, Carme, Spondae? What do you mean there's a moon called Spondae? Fuck off. They'll call Jovian satellites fucking anything. I'm going to name my timeless and unending child Spondae. Calliope, Psyche, Pasiphae, Eucelidae, Irene, Megaclyte. What the fuck? Men still can't find it. Sinope, Hegemone, Euidae, Calachore, Calaroe, Silene, Core, and a whole bunch more called shit like S/4269J6. There's at least 115 is what I'm getting at, and while it is true many of them have only been discovered since the turn of the millennium, at least 17 were known to exist before 1999. So this is a monumental fumble. Stay in your fucking lane, Rolf.
The moon's still being pounded.
Aside from all the fun dino facts, there's a bunch of interesting information about prehistoric plant life too, so yeah, I can't even really be mad. Knowledge Adventure did their absolute best with the available science of the time, so Dinosaur Adventure 3D holds up pretty well. Which sucks for me. What am I supposed to complain about now? I can't complain about the story, because there isn't one. Beyond the opening and closing cinematics, the plot is completely non-linear. You get to explore Paleo Island at your leisure, and the order of eggs you find is completely randomized between playthroughs. All that's left to see is the ending. The whole game I was wondering how hatching a bunch of baby dinosaurs would help get rid of the T-Rex. I don't know, maybe Rolf was preparing a sacrificial buffet or something. But I was wrong. Instead, he gathers them at the top of the volcano to make some noise.
Are we ready? Yeah! Let's move out, troops!
I love the look of the punk ankylosaur, but Protoceratops, Dilophosaurus, you can't wear that, that's offensive. Never do that again. Anyway, Rolf and the squad lure the Rex over to the volcano, and then...
Come on! Hurry! It's working! His footsteps are shaking up the volcano!
Holy shit, he's fucking gone. That volcano sent him to parry the asteroid. We can add another moon to Jupiter's harem because that guy is never coming back down.
And so, things returned to normal on Paleo Island. We had a bit of a lava problem for a while, but hey, we dinos are pretty adaptable. You know, we did survive for 150 million years before you mammals took over.
It's fucking crazy that the game ends this way. Let's have some kids set off a nuclear bomb to deal with this escaped lion. We'll get over the fallout eventually. Fucking insanity. And because this is a kid's game, the Rex doesn't even die, though that might have been a kindness given he ends up losing his teeth and becoming a bridge.
Oh well, that's what I heard.
Dude lost so hard he became infrastructure, and he didn't even do anything that bad. He was just grumpy, and then it just ends. Incredible. He does come back, chompers and all, if you want to jump into New Game Plus, but I think that's where I'll call it. I had a lot of fun returning to Dinosaur Adventure 3D. I went in expecting a complete dumpster fire, but clearly a lot of passion went into the game, more than any of Knowledge Adventure's attempts at a Jurassic Park 3 tie-in, but that, I think, is a topic for another video. Still, some surprisingly accurate dinosaur facts and charming presentation don't make it any more engaging to play as an adult. It holds up, I'm the one who's changed. So unless you have the same nostalgia for it I do, or a dinosaur-obsessed celestial nightmare child to share it with, I don't think there's much reason to pick it up today, even if it is really cool that it's been made available for future generations to enjoy. Thanks for watching. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing, leaving a like or a comment to let me know what you think of Dinosaur Adventure 3D, or even better, share it around to let others know instead. This video and everything I make for the channel is only made possible by the generous support of people on Patreon, so if you really like the video and want to see more, please consider donating. If you can't support monthly but still want to help the channel out, I also have a Ko-Fi. Links are in the description. But before I go, I'd like to thank by name the people supporting me with $5 US a month or more on Patreon. Anonymous, Abril, Arcady, Azazel, Cass... Hawkwing2652, Hey Matey, Heavy, Jeffiet, Jeff Ladd, Captain Ketchup, Paranoid Android, Reaper2122, Rock or Something, You Striptospondylus, Sam Hodge, Smingless, Sarah Bloomer, Sadar Your Friend, Saren, Shalaska, Smorsky, Sneezy McGlassface, Space Quest Historian, That One Tyrion, The Official 476, This Sauerkraut, Thomas Angel, Thomas Elliott, Tree 3, Angry Bees, Ursa, and Zeke the Phantom. Thank you so much. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Yeah. Gotcha. That was refreshing. Not.